Hey there, and welcome to the Align Strength Podcast, the place where we bridge fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness to help you feel your strongest. I'm your host, Mandy Scow, and today's episode we are talking about shoes, the foundation of movement. Whether you're using them for walking, running, lifting, or doing cross-training workouts, the right shoe makes a big difference. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to mention our second online group challenge we have for the year, our second one, which starts at the end of the month, at the end of April here. So our aligned 5-week online challenge kicks off Monday, April 28th. This challenge is held inside of our private Facebook community group. Here's a little bit of information on what those challenges look like. So I provide you with weekly guided workouts with a video demonstration and a modification for those. So each week I deliver in the group the video, the workouts, how to do the workouts. And then there's also nutritional tips and simple, quick, clean recipes, which are shared in the group. The accountability and encouragement from the others in the group is great. We have an amazing community supporting each other, rooting each other on through this 5-week challenge. So we've been doing these challenges, I believe, I think this is our third year now. And this year we have 5 different challenges, 5 weeks long. So it's a perfect way to stay consistent. It's a perfect way to start, build strength, feel your best with other people rooting you on. And this challenge can be done from anywhere because it's virtual. Some people even that are gym members do these challenges and do it at our own gym, but you can do it at any gym. You can do it at your home, whatever works best for you. So if you want information on it, reach out and I can get you more details, or there is a program link in the show notes that you can click that as well. So let's jump into it and start talking about different shoes for walking, running, cross-training, lifting weights. As I said, shoes are the foundation of movement. So depending on what you're doing, you're going to want to have the right shoes. So today we're going to cover different shoe types and what they're best for, how long you should have shoes before replacing them, and then also the foot types. What foot type you have can make a difference on what you're looking for buying shoes. But first, let's get into walking and running shoes. So with walking shoes, those are designed for heel-to-toe movement. They tend to have more arch support and cushioning and usually have a less of a flexible sole. Running shoes are designed for forward movement with impact absorption. They're more flexible and lightweight than running shoes. They have specific features like heel drop, cushioning levels, and stability support. So over the last 15 years of running, for me, I've really only used 2 different brands of running shoes, and those are Asics and Brooks. But for the past 5 years, I've been completely hooked on Brooks running shoes. Here's why. So I bought my first pair of Brooks at a race expo in Vegas. Myself and a few friends went out to Vegas to run the Rock and Roll half marathon. And at the expo there, I bought my first pair of Brooks running shoes. And instead of breaking them in, because I didn't, I bought them and went straight to the half marathon and ran in them without wearing them around prior to that. That race was just like any other normal race. There was no discomfort. There was no blisters, nothing abnormal about this shoe, just jumping right into it and running in it. This past year, a memory came up on my Facebook for me, reminding me of this Vegas marathon trip. And it dawned on me that it had been 5 years. And in the meantime, I was still wearing that same pair of Brooks running shoes from that run. So, I did decide to get a new pair of shoes, my new Brooks here. If you're watching, you can see on the video. But otherwise, my new pair that I have now is the Brooks Glycerin. Absolutely love them. And even though my other first pair that I had for 5 years, nothing seemed wrong with them. I didn't have any problems. They didn't give me any discomfort. I was one that was like, if they're not broken, why am I going to fix it? Why am I going to change? But after and definitely over the recommended running mileage for those shoes for sure, because I had them for 5 years. And but because I liked them, they lasted me that long. Even after 5 years, I still had no discomfort. I decided, yep, let's go with another pair of Brooks. And so kind of hooked on that brand as of right now. But since we're talking about mileage with them, you might think, well, how many miles should I get on my shoes before replacing them? And not everybody tracks their miles either. But with walking and running shoes, it's both about 300 to 500 miles on a pair of shoes before needing to replace them. Now, this does depend on the terrain and running style as well. But there are signs that you can also look for. Those signs can be if you have worn out treads, there's uneven wearing patterns on the bottom of your shoes, you've lost cushioning and support, or you're starting to feel new aches in your feet and ankles or any discomfort. At that point, you would want to replace your shoes as well. So, all right, that's a little bit about running and walking shoes. Now, there's cross-training shoes and there's weightlifting shoes as well. So what's the difference? Well, both types of shoes serve different purposes based on the movements you're performing. And here's a breakdown on how you can compare and when to choose which one. So weightlifting shoes. Those type of shoes are best for squats, deadlifts, Olympic lifting, heavy strength training. And why is that? That is because those type of shoes, weightlifting shoes, have a little bit more of a raised heel, which helps squat depth and ankle mobility. They have more of a solid sole, which provides a stable base for heavy lifting. They tend to have secure straps or laces, which locks your foot into place for maximum control. It helps maintain proper posture and form, especially for those deeper squats. Weightlifting shoes also reduce ankle mobility restrictions and prevents energy loss from cushioned soles. So when would you choose weightlifting shoes? So if your workouts mainly consisted of barbell squats, especially deep squats, or Olympic lifts like a snatch or a clean and jerk lift, or just heavy lifting where you want to focus on technique. Now, weightlifting shoes are not ideal for running, jumping, or lateral movements like side-to-side movements. There are some examples here I'm going to list of weightlifting shoes. There is the Adidas Adipower 3. There's the Nike Romealis, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, 4. Also the Reebok Legacy Lifter 3. So it's a little bit on lifting shoes. I personally have never owned a pair of lifting shoes, but I do own cross-training shoes. So I'm going to talk about cross-training shoes and what those are best for. So HIIT workouts, circuit training, functional fitness, agility work, short runs, moderate weightlifting. Those are all good. You would want cross-training shoes for all of those type of workouts. Now, with cross-training shoes, some of the features that you're going to see with those are they have a flat and flexible sole, which allows for multi-directional movement, forward, backwards, sideways, back and forth, quick agility type movements. It has moderate cushioning. It absorbs shock from jumping and dynamic movements. They're also durable for the lateral, like I said, the side to side. So cross-training shoes would be great for workouts that involve a mixture of strength, cardio, and agility. They're more comfortable for movements than lifting. So these type of shoes are a little bit more comfortable than lifting shoes, but you're moving faster, quicker, back and forth. And then also cross-training shoes can be used for really most types of training. So when would you choose cross-training shoes? You would choose those for, let's say, HIIT workouts, strength training with moderate weights, plyometrics, which would be jumping, box jumps, burpees, and then lateral movements like agility drills, side lunges, lateral climbers, lateral mountain climbers, all those type of movements. So Cross-training shoes, though, are not ideal for maximum weightlifting. They don't have enough heel or stability to lift heavy weights. Some examples of cross-training shoes are the Nike Metcon 9. There's the Reebok Nano X4, Adidas Drop Set Trainer 2. So those are just a few of cross-training shoes. So you might ask yourself, between these two, which one should you wear? Which one should I wear? Well, if your main focus is strength training and heavy lifting, then go with weightlifting shoes. But if you're doing more of a mix of lifting, cardio, movement-based workouts, you're going to want to choose the cross-training shoes. Some people like to own both. Lifting shoes for squat days, cross-training shoes for everything else. You know, some people do have both and do that. Now, again, like I said, I do not own both. I've never owned a pair of weightlifting shoes, but I do have and have had many cross-training shoes for all, and I use those for all my workouts and as well as short, quick runs like on the treadmill. And my go-to is an Adidas cross-training shoe. I've always had an Adidas cross-training shoe, and that's just what works for me. So when it comes to cross-training shoes, those have been the best for me is Adidas. I love them because they're flexible, they're not stiff or hard like other brands, and they're comfortable for me. But I mean, whether I'm lifting or doing a HIIT workout or moving lateral side to side, the Adidas for me provides the right balance of support and mobility. Again, everyone has their favorite and what works for them. And it also it goes off of the shape of your foot. So, you know, what works for me might not work for you because your foot is shaped differently than mine. So you have to take that into consideration. And with that, that's going to lead me into talking about foot types and the shoe choices based off of your foot type. So what foot type do I have and how do I know? Well, there's actually a really easy test that you can take at home to determine your foot type, and that is the wet foot test. So what is that and why does it matter? Well, the wet foot test is a simple way to determine your foot arch type, which helps you choose the right shoes for walking, running, training, lifting. Your arch impacts how your foot absorbs an impact and distributes the weight. So, and both of those, the impact that your foot is doing and distributing the weight is crucial for comfort and injury prevention. How do you do this foot test? Well, so a couple different ways. You can get your foot wet like by stepping out of a shower onto a dry surface. So, or you can step with a wet foot onto a piece of paper or any flat surface. You can use a paper bag, cardboard, a dry floor. And then you're going to want to look at the foot shape and you're going to want to compare the arches from looking at that. So from the wet footprint, you're going to want to look at that wet footprint and compare the arches. You're going to determine your foot arch, and you're going to have either you're going to be flat-footed, so a low arch, or you're going to have a normal arch or a high arch. So flat, normal, or high. What a flat arch looks like is if most of your foot on that piece of paper or dry floor is visible. So there is little to no curve on the inside. That would be a flat foot. And the shoe type you're going to want for that is you're going to want more stability and more motion control shoes to support your arch, because you're going to want to support it to prevent excessive inward rolling of your foot. So you're going to want a more stable of a shoe if you're flat-footed. And then next one is normal arch. So a normal arch would be if about half of your arch is visible. A moderate curve on the inside of that footprint would be for a normal arch. A shoe type for this would be neutral cushioning shoes that provide a balance of support and flexibility. And then there are high arched people. So if you have a high arch on your foot, when you look at that footprint, that wet footprint, you're going to only see your heel, the ball of your foot, and a very thin outer edge will be visible. So a shoe type for that is cushioned shoes to support shock, since high arches don't provide as much natural shock absorption. Okay, so a little bit of info there on the different shoe arch types. You have one of those three more than likely, and then what type of shoes you're going to want to kind of look for depending on the arch of your foot. So why does this matter? Well, choosing the wrong shoe can lead to discomfort, pain, and even injury. The wet foot test is an easy way to identify what type of support your feet need for walking, running, or training. And then what happens if you don't replace your shoes? So if you don't replace your shoes when you're supposed to, or, the recommended time, wearing your shoes past the prime time might seem harmless, but over time, they lose their support, they lose their cushioning, and they lose their structure. And here's what can happen if you keep wearing shoes that are past their worn life. You can get increased risk of injury. So without proper cushioning, your feet and joints absorb more impact, which can lead to shin splints, stress fractures, and knee pain. You can get foot pain and discomfort. With foot pain and discomfort, as your sole wears down, it no longer provides the support your foot needs. So the shoes on your sole, the soles on your shoes, the soles on your shoes, once they wear down, you're not getting this correct support, which can lead to arch pain, plantar fasciitis, I can't even say that word, fasciitis, plantar fasciitis, and general soreness. So that can come from if you don't have enough sole support in your shoe. Altered running or walking mechanics, blisters and calluses. So your shoes break down, they can start rubbing against different parts of your heel that they weren't before, causing friction, which can cause the blisters and calluses on your feet. Also, less performance and efficiency. So if your shoes aren't supporting you properly, you won't feel as strong or stable doing your workout, so making everything from running to lifting harder than what it should be. So replacing your shoes at a proper time is pretty important. Here is a pro tip. If you're unsure whether your shoes need replacing, check the tread and midsole for compression lines and cracks and how you feel on your feet. So also take note on how your feet feel. If they no longer feel comfortable or supportive, it's probably time to get a new pair. So today's takeaway, shoes are more than just gear. They're the foundation of movement. So if you're walking, running, lifting, or cross-training, the right pair can improve your performance, prevent injuries, and keep you comfortable. So you want to match your shoe to your activity. Running, walking, lifting, cross-training all require different levels of support and flexibility. You want to replace your shoes regularly. So 300 to 500 miles of running and walking shoes, or when you notice that they have worn out or they've given you discomfort in any way. Know your foot type. Are you flat-footed? Do you have high arches, or do you have a neutral foot? This all impacts the kind of support that you need. Personal comfort is key. So what works for someone else may not work for you. So find the brand and the style that works best for your body. At the end of the day, investing in the right shoes is investing in your health and longevity. If your feet aren't happy, the rest of your body is going to feel it too. So for me, Brooks is my go-to for running because of my experience. The first time I had them was really good and they lasted a long time for me. And then cross-training and lifting, I go with Adidas. That's my favorite, and it's because of their flexibility and comfort. But the best shoe is always the one that works for you. What works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. So just find the one that works for you and the one that works best for your type of foot and makes you hit the goals that you're working towards. So if you're not sure what's right for you, visit a running store. You can get an analysis. You can test different brands and also just listen to your body. And remember, don't wait too long to replace your shoes. Your feet will thank you when you get a new pair. Thank you so much again today for tuning into today's episode. Share this episode with a friend who might need some shoe advice. And if you have a favorite shoe brand, let me know. Send me a message, connect with me, comment on here. I love to hear what other people like, because who knows, maybe I will find a new brand or a new type of Brooks or a new type of Asics that I like. But I love to hear from you as well. So until next time, stay strong, stay aligned, and take care of your feet. Bye-bye.